I'd like to go ahead and open up the Tuesday, September 3rd, 2019 Warrenton Board of Aldermen meeting. If you would, please rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible.
First thing will be the consent agenda.
The regular meeting minutes from August 20th, 2019. The cinder bid awarded to Bobby Holscher Trucking in the amount of $6,660, the only bid. The salt bid awarded to Bruce Oakley Incorporated in the amount of $23,520, the only bid. And the oil change and auto repair bid awarded to Warrenton Tire and Muffler Center, the best bid.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items as submitted.
So moved.
Second. Motion made by Alderman Schultz, seconded by Alderman Shell Harvey. Roll call vote.
Alderman Deloy,
Yes.
Alderman Schultz,
Yes.
Alderman Shell Harvey,
Yes.
Alderman Dyer,
Yes.
Alderman Ock, Alderman Miller.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. Next, we'll be hearing from the public, but before we move on to that, I'd like to recognize an individual who's in our audience, Representative Jeff Porter. If you'd like to come up and say some things, please.
Opportunity. A lot of you know me, but probably a few of you don't know me very well, so I thought I'd kind of give you a little bit of background to see what you got down in Jeff City representing you. I'm married for 35 years and coming in December. Got 2 kids, 1 grandbaby that was just born this year, so I'm pretty pumped about little John. I was past mayor of Montgomery City for 8 terms, so I understand a lot of your agenda. I was looking at that. Names are different, but the topics are similar, so I feel what you got to go through every year. Also down at the Capitol, I've joined the local government caucus. It seemed like down there's a lot of things actually attacking local government on a lot of issues, so we're trying to stay more on top of it. Some of the issues that came up this past session was about trying to, like you put your fight broadband, so a lot of these little towns like Middletown doesn't have any kind of cell service, let alone internet, so it makes a big difference. By being part of the local government caucus, I'm hoping to hear things quicker. The 3 committees that I'm on insurance, because I've been a state farm agent for 28 years over in Montgomery City. I'm also on transportation to continue the fight. Like Mayor and I, we've been involved with that fight on tolling I-70 to keep that from happening, and also on professional restoration and licensing. One of the issues there that I've been trying to get involved with on that is home inspectors. There's not a licensing requirement, no minimum requirement for their education process. I'm also a realtor with Miller Agency over at Montgomery, so I always depended on them to be very good on what they're doing, but with no minimum experience or minimum amount of education required, it is an issue. So we're trying to address that. It's been addressed a few times, but it's always been fought and thrown out. So if you're paying $350 to $500 for an inspection fee, you want to make sure you're getting your money's worth, because realtors, the buyers, the sellers, everyone's very greatly affected about the outcome of that inspection. So I'm trying to stay on top of that as well. I'm just here for questions. I'll be here for a little bit longer. If you have some questions now, I address whatever's bothering you. I keep hearing talk about MoDOT. I talk to them quite a bit, so it's one of those issues we try to stay on top of. They have a big process with the new bridges that's going to be let out for bid. I think that's going to be very good. The Roachport one was a critical one that our congressional people helped us a lot with that, because that was going to stop up the traffic bad, many hours each way if they didn't go to the separate bridge. So I feel like we're going the right way on that. The big question down the road, what we're going to do about the roads. I don't see much this next session. Mainly because it's election year. A lot of people don't want to stick their neck out, but after that, I feel like it's going to come back up again, to be honest with you. One thing I can tell you about me as a person, I don't get twisted very easily. If you have good information, the ones that twist me the hardest is my district, District 42. Those are the people I pay attention to. So if you got issues, you let me know, but if they're going to try to twist my vote for someone outside District 42, unless they got new information that's going to make a difference, then I'll look at that. So I don't abide to anybody but District 42. So appreciate your support. A few of you all have my number. Mayor's got my number. Mike's got my number. So if you ever want to put in your phone, put it in speed dial. Text me when issues comes up, because on the floor I can text and I can take a call outside there. But if something comes up, I like to have each and every one of you as a resource person. So any questions? Thank you. Appreciate the time.
Keep on MoDOT.
We we will try.
And the one thing I can say is I just appreciate your honesty about, a lot of people want to beat around the bush and not say it, but, not sticking your neck out during election times. It's a shame, but it is the truth. And
It is the
I
truth.
just appreciate the honesty on it.
Anytime. Thanks.
Next is hearing from the public. Anybody who'd like to come to the microphone at the podium, we ask you state your name, and we'll give you 5 minutes to speak. Not seeing anybody, we move on to the Board of Alderman comments.
Aaron, like,
One day, a couple of calls overpass. And the out there, I'd like to really commend. That was I'm going to start over because I want to commend the crew that handled the weed pulling out at the overpass. That was a miserable job that I understand was supposed to be MoDOT's responsibility, and MoDOT has not taken over the overpass yet, as we anticipated. Is that correct, Brandy? And we do not know yet when they're going to take that over, and our guys worked very, very hard to get those weeds down and dug out. The other thing, I would like to thank a lot of the residents. This was a really difficult year with all the rain to keep their yards mowed. Everybody worked very hard. It's nice to know that when you walk through some of the communities, how people really take an interest in keeping their homes up. And it also incentivizes the neighbors to do the same thing. The sidewalk project, I think, is amazing. It certainly enhances our downtown area for all the individuals that worked on that sidewalk project. It looks really nice. I'm sure those business owners along that side of the street appreciate having a nice, safe walkway for their patrons. I don't know who's painting all the fire hydrants, Guy, but they look really good. I appreciate that. And that's all I have, because I'm on a beautification kick. So,
Nothing wrong with that.
okay.
Mayor, I'd like to extend thanks also to Brandy Walters. I talked to her on the phone just before that project got started on the roundabouts, and she done a good job of getting that off square one. So, good job.
Not on? There we go. Okay. Make a comment to Guy also. I had a compliment this afternoon, and it actually, I guess, come via Alderman Schultz, one of the residents out at, Meadows, where you live? Ashland Meadows, okay. Ash Road, I guess, gets covered with mud when there's a heavy rain. And called Scott, and they were glad to see, they said the city was out there the next day clearing the mud, which leads me to the next point is maybe we need to contact the property owners along there to see if we can do something together to keep the mud from washing onto the road. Understands the farmer, and he's losing good topsoil, it sounds like. But
And I think they went in a different location than they had before, and I think that it took that route. There's an entrance off that road that you can get into the field, and I think up a little farther and got the soil rutted up, and when it rained, we got 5 inches of rain in less than 2 hours, so we didn't have nowhere to go. We have made contact with the farmer.
anyway.
Like I said, we didn't get to it right away, but we got to it as quick as we could.
I thought the school district owned that land.
Okay.
All right. To the mayor's comments, I'm just going to make one real quick and brief. For those that were able to attend the Greater Warren County Economic Development Committee dinner, or what be it, it was a nice turnout. I appreciate it. Obviously, Representative Jeff Porter was there, among other of our representatives and senators, and it was a real good turnout. But seeing Governor Parson there was, and to hear him speak, he is a good speaker, and I'd always heard that. Never really heard him speak, but was impressed. Seems like a straight shooter. I liked his opening comment that it's probably going to be his best term because he didn't make any promises or owe anybody to get in. So it was pretty great to hear him say that. Kind of funny, added to the humor and lightened up the whole thing. So if you weren't able to attend, I would just recommend that if you ever know where he's speaking, go see him. He's pretty impressive to hear. So that's all I got, really. We'll move on to the caterer liquor license for Fall Festival 2019 for the Warren County Fair Board. If there's no questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the caterer liquor license for the Warren County Fair Board for Fall Fest 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Shell Harvey, seconded by Alderman Dyer. Roll call vote.
Alderman Schultz?
Yes.
Alderman Shell Harvey?
Yes.
Alderman Dyer?
Yes.
Alderman Ock?
Yes.
Alderman Miller?
Yes.
Alderman Deloy.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Can I ask a question, Mayor?
Sure.
So, Counselor, I know we have to, we're controlled by what the state says we can charge. Charge $15. It's hardly seen flexibility in that.
There is. We can raise our liquor licenses, but based on the Hancock Amendment and some Missouri Supreme Court rulings, I recommend that we take that to the ballot. So if you wanted to increase your liquor license fees, my thought would be we would do a staff review of it and consider raising those fees via the ballot.
Because, like I said, a lot of these licenses are $15, or some of them are, and it just seems like it's not worth the paperwork. Some time to do that if you have staff who has to process it, and if there's any checking of the applicant out, it just seems like it's a loser from that perspective.
I will say the good thing is it gives us contact and a background check of whoever's selling liquor and ability to review their character.
On the caterer liquor licenses, there is no, because they have the renewal that they did in June, I believe, June 1st. So we have all that backup information. So the only thing that they do is they submit it to let us know that they want to sell alcohol for the Fall Fest. So there's no additional paperwork or admin done to it. It's just put on the agenda then, once we get the $15 fee.
But we try to craft our fees so that we don't violate the Hancock Amendment of the Missouri Constitution. If we wanted to do that, a lot of cities have gone to comprehensive ballot measures to raise fees for different business licenses and whatnot.
Thank you.
Next, we'll hear from Director of Operations, Brandy Walters.
Good evening. First thing I have for you is the monthly admin report. I don't have any events on there for this month. However, we have the Fall Festival coming up September 28th, so I want to make sure everybody makes that. Mountain Daredevil.
So how are the vendors being attracted? Are we getting as many vendors, as many food trucks? What's going on?
We're actually getting quite a few vendors. I think as of last Friday, I had only 12 spots left. 12 spaces left, and we have 70 spaces. So if a vendor takes 2 or 3, of course, not 70 vendors.
Right.
But I was down to 12.
Are people registering for the car show also, or?
You don't usually register too much for the car show ahead of time. Usually it's the day of. We have a couple registrations, but not very many, which we don't usually.
Are we going to use the school as a parking lot again this year?
Sure are. We're going to still have shuttles as we have in the past. The difference this year is we'll have 2 stopping points, so you can park at the middle school, and then we will have a stopping point at Market and Oak, And then we'll also have a stopping point at Oak and Thurman. So anybody that comes earlier and wants to be closer up towards the Hollywoods can get dropped off up there. Well, they're not walking up the hill.
We also spoke with Presiding Commissioner Gildehouse and Sheriff Harrison, and I guess all the construction equipment will be moved by that date. They're guaranteed us it'll be moved so that it opens up that whole area.
The other thing we're working on right now is the newsletter for fall. So that'll probably be going out in the next, I'm guessing, probably the week before the Fall Festival. Any questions? Next thing I have is the recommendation from the Tourism Commission. They met on August 27th, and they recommend us paying for the interstate attraction sign, which is for America's Best Value Inn, at $600.
Questions on that? I'll entertain a motion to approve the tourism recommendations in the amount of $600.
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Alderman Miller, seconded by Alderman Schultz. Roll call vote.
Alderman Shell Harvey?
Yes.
Alderman Dyer?
Yes.
Alderman Ock?
Yes.
Alderman Miller?
Yes.
Alderman Deloy,
Yes.
Alderman Schultz?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. Next we'll hear from Finance Officer Dana Palaska.
Good evening. I have before you a list of claims for your review and approval. Claims total $370,470.76. Were there any questions regarding the claims list?
Not see anybody? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the accounts payable in the amount of $370,470.76.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Shell Harvey, seconded by Alderman Deloy. Roll call vote.
Alderman Dyer?
Yes.
Alderman Ock?
Abstain.
Alderman Miller?
Yes.
Alderman Deloy,
Yes.
Alderman Schultz?
Yes.
Alderman Shell Harvey?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0 with one abstaining.
Item on the agenda is the July financials, which are before you. Again, this is our first month in this new fiscal year, so there isn't any major trends to point out just yet. You'll see that sales tax and police fines are slightly above budget, where franchise fees are slightly below. General fund operating expenses are about $98,000 below budget for this first month. About half of that is related to wages and salary, and then the other half supplies and maintenance. So in that area, just items that the departments haven't had a chance to look at. Water and sewer fund revenues are about $7,000 below budget, and again, that just fluctuates with temperatures and water needs for the month. Operating expenses in the water and sewer fund about $50,000 below budget, approximately $1,000 of that cost. Any questions regarding the July financials?
I believe so. Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Public Works Director Guy Jeevers.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. You have my monthly report. Crew's been doing a lot of concrete work out there for Warrior Pass and Warrior Ridge. There was some sidewalk repaired on 47. Like he's mentioned, they're out painting fire hydrants. We got like 13 of them painted. Had a water main break on Veterans Memorial. One sewer call, and that wasn't on the city. It was a private issue. The sidewalks coming along. They've got a few more feet of guardrail to put up, and we'll be wrapped up at that, so it'll make the fall festival in time. So
Excellent.
that was a big push. The guys came in and got it in and got out quickly.
There's a light pole in the middle of the lower sidewalk at the end. Is that going to be there permanently?
Yes. It's on the, that's not really part of a sidewalk. It's a step down, kind of like a no man's land.
I can't skateboard down there.
You
We
can.
can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I went
Grab the post, go around it.
Yeah. Let me know when you do it, so we can get it on video.
You want to get some pictures of that? Okay.
And we did some patchwork with some asphalt and that, just trying to clean things up, so.
So, where are we at on the Roseville project?
The engineer, light pole's been moved. All the utilities have been relocated. The engineer is on vacation. We're probably gonna have another meeting with the contractor and get started on that quick.
When do we anticipate starting
I
on?
would hope to be by the end of this month. The contractor's aware of everything being moved, and what I was told is they're not held up on anything. They can move forward fairly quick, but I did not make touch base with the engineer today because he was on vacation.
What's the timeline of the project once it gets started, do you know?
I don't remember off the top of my head, sir.
Any update on the Highway 47 North project? Is it going along as?
We had our meeting with public, and I see there's some new markings out there on locates, and I think they're working on getting closer to a final drawing, and then go from there. But we can't talk about easements or nothing until we get to that point. But I know there's new stakes in that out there, so they're adjusting what needed to be accordingly to what we have, and taking concerns what the residents had to say, if anything could have been adjusted then. So I don't know the dates when the final.
All of those preliminary drawings are due to MoDOT by the end of this month, I believe.
The crossover there at Fairgrounds Road, is that going to be a blinking light, or is that going to be a full stop sign or stoplight?
I think the plans show a blinking light at this point until we get to MoDOT gives us its blessings, then we'll know more. But what I got was it was a blinking light.
That's going to be generated by the pedestrian. It's not going to be a constant blinking light there all the time. Only blink pedestrian to cross.
Do we ask MoDOT to lower the speed limit through there?
I believe that came in conversation and
It needs to be.
didn't get a response back. They wouldn't commit one way or the other. They said they'd look at it and do a traffic to see what's going on there, but would not.
I think when they did the traffic study, it was not, it didn't come back as something that was needed at this time.
I mean, doesn't need to be lowered.
That's what the response was, I believe, from
Really?
It's just like the stoplight, because we originally asked for a stoplight there, and they also said that that was not feasible at this time.
Anybody from MoDOT live here? I travel that 47 every morning, and that concerns me about that crossover there without some type of signal.
Yeah, but I think what we're talking about is the pedestrian traffic that we need to worry about, Gary, not the...
That's what I'm talking about. When
But
you have to
that-
cross 47.
I know, but gosh, I hope there's not that many pedestrians walking.
Well,
Yeah.
only takes one.
Yeah, well, this is true, but gosh, we've got so many changes in speeds here and there. I hate to make another one coming into the main drag.
That's all I have.
Any other questions? Comments?
I just want to know about the mowing on South 47. Are they not mowing certain areas? Because Charter's got all of those orange flags. Some of where the sidewalks are on the east side of South 47, the weeds are so tall they're starting to encroach on the sidewalk. But there's so much trash along there, and the weeds are spots.
I'll check and find out.
Okay, the trash really concerns me, and the tall weeds, that does not look very nice coming in.
When they do the locates, they set flags. They're also supposed to paint the ground also in case somebody does knock the flag down.
Well, the sidewalk is marked in some areas, but, I mean, the weeds are tall, actually on both sides of the sidewalk. Do we have responsibility for so much footage east of the sidewalk?
In the sidewalk and the road, between the sidewalk and the
And the
homeowners.
property owner? None. So it's the property owner's responsibility.
And it's
Okay, well,
usually the-
this is the property owner's issue then.
And it's
But-
usually the ditches that they don't cut.
What kind of?
It's usually the ditches where they can't,
Okay,
don't want
Oh,
to push more to weed eat it.
okay. Well, it's getting pretty trashy in one area there, so.
So what do we do in situations where the homeowner isn't cleaning or clearing out by the ditch? I mean, Mike's familiar with this. There's probably 3 or 4 homes on McKinley that you have trees going right next to the asphalt, and everything's cut, but they, for some reason, don't cut down all their property surrounding the home. You're familiar with several of those spots on McKinley. Is that something the city crew has to go out and do? I mean, technically, we've got the easement for it, so I guess it's our responsibility.
Generally speaking, we delegate maintenance of the right-of-way between a sidewalk or even, because even a residential street, you may be a 60-foot wide right-of-way and road may be 35 feet wide, 40 feet wide. We delegate that responsibility for maintenance of that, and we've dealt with this over the years, of that right-of-way to the contiguous property owner, whoever's property is contiguous to that, up into where the city maintains it. Typically, the first time we go out, it's just notifying them that, you are responsible for this. It's because we have a right-of-way or an easement. We don't have ownership of the land. We have the right-of-way. We can abandon that right-of-way and whatnot, so we delegate that responsibility. Now, where it gets tricky is when we really try to crack down on the ditches is you have somebody who is maybe elderly or disabled, and we go out and we say, hey, you got to mow this, and then they say they can't because of the grade or it's a ditch or whatnot, and then we will typically start doing more right-of-way, if you will, maintenance than we're actually legally required. And we legally can delegate that to the property owner. So it's a lot easier if you give us kind of specific spots and then let the staff talk to the people and see if they're capable of doing it and then kind of going from there. But, I mean, obviously, we want to delegate that maintenance responsibility to the property owners because then we can use our resources to more frequently mow some of the Highway 47 right-of-way or Highway 70 right-of-way.
Where I'm talking about, there's no homes. It's open lots.
Well, it's still, whoever the open lot is still
Right.
responsible. And most of the time, people are very responsive to it. Every now and then, you get the person that says, well, I'm not going to mow the first 20 feet of my yard, and then show them the property maintenance code that says it's their responsibility, and they typically will conform.
What intersecting street is it close to, just so he has a better...
Well, it would be from Pittman Funeral Home to the library, and then there's a section after that, after the library, and where Jack lives, on to Warrior Avenue. And
Give you a better location.
it's really, that people are just throwing their trash in there. It looks terrible.
Questions or comments?
You are in a beautification.
Hey, I'm all about it.
All right.
Any other questions or comments? All right, I'll entertain a motion to close the regular Board of Alderman meeting.
Moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Walk, seconded by Alderman Dyer. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are so adjourned.